some things are going backwards as technology goes forward. Some things go backwards. So we're actually going to talk about a lot of these things. I'm first going to give a little intro to my former classmate, straight from Virginia, Newport News, aka Bad News, 757, whatever you want to call it. So we actually went to Ferguson High School together. I think I got her by a year or so. I ain't gonna give our ages at all.
Everybody already know how old you are, Kysii. Everybody know you. They already know.
Listen. So
she's
anyway,
younger, so there you go. That's what we know.
Listen. So anyway, we're here. We're gonna chop up a lot of topics here. Ianta, welcome to the Kicking It with Kysii show. Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah. I put it out like, say, hey, who wants to do a podcast with me? She was like, I'll be excited. I'll be honored to do it. And I was like, oh, definitely. How are you gonna be honored to be on my show? I'm honored to have you on my show.
Exactly.
So that's how it was. A little bit of reversal. So anyway, I am glad that you had time to carve out some time in your busy evening to be able to talk to us. And so first off is, I like to say, I know from Newport News, where me and you from, there's a lot of people who, didn't necessarily, let me just put it bluntly, there's some people who ain't even make it. That's to put it bluntly. Some people didn't make it, some people in jail, some people were pregnant and, didn't do what they supposed to do. Some people, still on the street corner. I mean, all kind of different things going on. So congratulations for you and your success and what you're doing. I want to hear what from Newport News to DC. Give me that first off. How'd you end up there? How'd you end up choosing that? And how'd you get into what you're doing right now as a public analyst consultant?
I'm a public affairs consultant. I do lobbying. Mm-hmm. It's public affairs because it involves government affairs, lobbying, public relations, and advocacy work. And I went to the University of Maryland. I just stayed in this area when I graduated from college. And since then, I've always been involved in government and how governing works. And that kind of just carried over into my adult life. I wasn't always involved in this when I first moved here. It took a while. But then when I got to be about, and I started when I got lucky and I worked in a lobbying firm as my first career job. So that really introduced me to the advocacy and lobbying and the money side of politics. And since then, I've worked for the government. I worked on the Hill, worked on the transportation committee. And I've also worked in, in another government agency. So I've done a lot of things from being up here. But the funny thing is I didn't always have a start in government. I actually when I moved up here at first, went to University of Maryland, and I actually started off my career in the restaurant industry. And from there, met a lot of people. And my first opportunity actually came because I was working in that industry. So, it's just funny how those things work here in D.C., but we're all connected. It's a very small town, even though it's an international city.
So I have a quick question for you. Hi, this is Angela Ingram, Kysii's wife. He didn't introduce us. So.
Not yet.
But I just wanted to ask a quick question. So is there one particular event that made you transfer from the restaurant industry, or there's one particular part or thing that happened in your life to help make that transition?
I met a woman who was a lobbyist, and I took really good care of her for her 40th birthday party, and she asked me to come work for her.
Nice.
And that's a lot of times it just happens that way. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is luck and being prepared. So.
Right.
Wow, that's awesome there. That is awesome. That is very good. I mean, especially, being able to get into that break like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure being there, you meet all kinds of influential people, all kinds of what's the proper term? Let me see. All kind of influential people, all kind of policymakers, celebrities.
Oh yeah, DC. Everybody has to come to DC. If you can't have a business and not come to DC, so I've met people from all over the world.
Okay, now I was really
I know a lot of people.
when I was doing a promo to put you onto my flyer. I forgot to talk about you because you didn't have an answer. Were you clowning my flyer when you told me the application to use? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Is that what?
Were you clowning my flyer? Like, hey, you should use this application here.
No, not at all.
I was like, wow, I know she didn't just clown. She just did it some silent hate on my flyer.
Hey, it's better than what I could do. It's better than what I could do. So
he gets a little sensitive. Excuse him. He does so many things. He gets a little sensitive about his work.
I don't get sensitive, man.
You just ask her, was she clowning you on air on the show?
Listen, I ain't got the best.
Or she is the guest of the show.
I don't have the best graphics. I know that. I'm all right. That's why Glenn does it. Glenn does my graphics. Glenn, shout out to Glenn, also another 757 guy from Newport News. He went to Ward. I don't know if you know Glenn Hicks, but that's my longtime buddy from a long time ago. But he also comes on shows every now and then with us too. He's here in Atlanta as well. I saw a picture. Was it? Were you with? I don't remember if you had a picture with Hillary or did you have a picture with the Obamas? You had it with somebody. I couldn't find it. I was like, yeah, she was in here with somebody.
No pictures with Hillary or Obama.
Okay, it was somebody. It was some very influential, very high up people. I'm like, man, she really rubbing shoulders with somebody up in here.
I mean, those people are out. I mean, it's the industry you're in. This is their career, so it's very common to rub shoulders with politicians, and I mean, major news organizations and people that you see on TV because everything in politics is covered through the news. So you see a lot of familiar faces, just an everyday passing in D.C. I mean, I live in a neighborhood where the Obamas are relatively close. Well, their house, they're never there, but they live in my neighborhood.
Very nice.
Oh, wow. That's awesome there.
One day I'm going to actually run into them.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be over just a little bit of time, too. So question for you, and that was, what was my other question? I thought about, because you were actually a organizer of the Women's March that happened last year. So
this year,
this year,
earlier this year,
I should say. I'm trying to pass through 2017 so
Me
fast.
Me too.
And my wife, she was really upset because she really wanted to be at that march. I think
in Atlanta, yeah,
the Atlanta version of that march.
We were working that day. We ended up doing some other things, but it was a phenomenal time. So if you could just tell us how you got started working with the event and helping to organize the event, what your thoughts were around all of the the different areas and markets where the Women's March happened. I mean, just tell us some of your give us some reflection on your thoughts about it.
Well, so the story is kind of just lightning in the bottle. It's just a moment that happened that we organized it, but we were not responsible for the turnout. I mean, it exceeded our expectations, 300,000%, if you want to say that. But I knew someone. So there's a Facebook group called Pantsuit Nation, and another one with Nasty Girl or Nasty Woman or something like that. Yeah. And I got added. Yeah, so I got added to that group. And the person who actually said that we're going to march on Washington, her name is Bob Bland. I knew some of the organizers, and when I saw that they were getting involved, I just reached out, and they were happy for me to come aboard. I got involved really early. I was there like in November. And it just, it just came together like magic. It wasn't anything that I knew that we were going to do or had planned on. I just knew that I wanted to help because, you just had the feeling that this was going to be a big thing, and politics is really my passion. So I was happy to get involved, happy that, I had access to the national co-chairs, and we did our thing. It was just remarkable. A lot of us still can't believe that we pulled it off, but, the women that we work with are just remarkable. They are the right people for this time, and I'm really happy to be part of that organization. Every time that we do something, it reaches millions of people, and we have all this news coverage, and people are really paying attention to what we are saying. So, we have the ear of the world right now, and hopefully we're going to propel this conversation forward and make some positive changes in the right direction for our country.
Nice. So one of the things that...
For those that have been marginalized.
Yeah, right. I completely agree. So one question I have is, it was really amazing to me to see the organization and see the outpouring of love and the Women's March and all these different types of women, the different type of demographics. I mean, it was amazing. So that part was really, really awesome to see. But my question is, and this is not to be negative about the march at all, but it's amazing to me how we had this outpouring and all these people show up for the marches, but then the previous election, had put someone in the White House who wasn't necessarily promoting any of the things that the Women's March promoted. It's still crazy to me how many women voted for the current president. So what I'm trying to say is, I guess, what is the disconnect between, those women that voted for Trump and the women who actually marched on Washington and had the women marches all over the United States?
Their husbands and Christianity, I believe. And I think that a lot of Republican women will follow what their husbands do, because of their partnership and how the husband is the head of the household or whatever. So I think that the dichotomy that you see between people who voted for him and people who didn't is just the simple fact that this country is very divided, and we're divided almost evenly, down the center. So, you have it's a right now in the country, since we're so divided, it's like 50-50 almost. Even though more people voted for Hillary Clinton,
right? Because
of the Electoral College, Trump was able to win by roughly 80,000 votes. So, that's within a hair.
Yes,
that's like a hairline fracture. So, that really explains why women voted for him. And plus, a lot of times women are used to locker room banter and the vulgarities that come out of men's mouths as far as our bodies. I mean, we're used to that. We live in a sexist society that's male-dominated.
Absolutely,
so,
and I completely agree with that. But that person is not because of the vulgarities that we hear in the world that we live in. I didn't expect that person to be so much support from women of any type, any color, race, creed, gender, based on some of the things that he had already said and caught saying in the locker room banter. I just felt like it was an excuse, and I don't know. I guess I felt like we should hold the most powerful person in the free world to a higher standard, and I felt like it's gone. It's completely gone now.
Well, Donald Trump has been a celebrity since the 80s. Like, he's been, a nationwide celebrity since the 80s. People love Donald Trump. They don't see him. They see him as the poor man's dream. So whatever he does, whatever he says, they can blow it off, as him just joking, or that's fake, or it's a lie, or anything like that, because people see him already as flawless. And they just think that, he has privilege because of the money that he's made. Although we don't know how he's made it. I mean, we can make assumptions about how he's made it. But, you know,